Welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. As always, my name is Zach. Unfortunately, I spent 5 years of my life in maximum security prison. Since returning, I've got my medical degree, and now I work in an urgent care, helping those who cannot help themselves. I do video chat interviews with individuals that's still locked up in prison, regardless if it's for murder, for drug charges, for robbing, just to show you a first-hand look what it's actually like living life in prison. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Past few videos we've been talking about supermax facilities and maximum security prisons. But today what we're going to be getting into is younger offenders. So what we're going to be talking about is the youthful prisons that are all across the United States. Certain states have certain facilities that can hold specifically youthful offenders and some don't. Unfortunately, West Virginia, we don't have them. Today we're going to be going into Indiana prison. They have a maximum security facility specifically set up for these youthful offenders that's serving, a couple months here and there, or 30, 40-year sentences for murder and for robbery. So sit back, relax, enjoy this episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you're first informed when I upload. As always, I send my utmost love, loyalty, respect. Keep y'all heads up. Hope you enjoy this video and come back for more. I'm gone.
Colt Lundy, and I'm 15 years old. It's overwhelming just to know that there's people in here that can be like my grandpa. So it's really quite odd. Because everybody calls me youngin', and I'm always treated like, I'm like a little kid. Crime might seem like that, but I'm not the person that they may think I am from reading something. I'm way different than that.
15-year-old Colt Lundy is at the start of a 30-year prison sentence for conspiracy to commit murder and the shooting death of his stepfather. He and a 12-year-old accomplice were caught in Illinois after the boys fled in the victim's car. What would drive two kids, neither of whom had ever had a brush with the law, to commit such an unthinkable act? Reports show no real explanation, and neither boy chose to talk to us about the specifics of the crime.
I got 30 years to spend 5 for probation. I never thought I could actually go to prison. I just thought the worst would be probation or boys' school, but you don't realize until after the fact that every decision you make, every choice has a repercussion, whether good or bad. And you just need to keep that in mind because, this can happen to you. The worst thing for me is when you look outside, it's dark outside, and you look up at the sky, it's totally black. And then I see the razor wire, the brick buildings and all that, and I'm just thinking, wow, this is really prison, sometimes it just hits you.
Sometimes it feels like a dream. It's it's not real.
Home no more.
No, it's definitely not home.
Teenagers like Colt Lundy and his roommate are not alone. Across the United States, nearly 10,000 kids under the age of 18 are serving time in adult prisons and jails.
A lot of people in here get hurt.
Died too. In Westville, some guy not too long ago just got beat to death with lock socks to death.
In Indiana, all kids sentenced as adults are incarcerated in the youth unit inside the massive Wabash compound, with adult prisoners kept separate in neighboring cell blocks. The young offenders are isolated from their adult counterparts. Kids eat here, recreate here, and go to school here. For most kids, time literally seems to stand still.
This is your whole life. I've spent 5 months in county, and if they would have let me out then, that would have been enough wake-up call for the rest of my life.
But once a youth offender turns 18, they're transitioned out of the youth unit and into the adult population, either here or at one of Indiana's 21 other adult facilities.
I'm nervous, nervous. I'm gonna go to a section with guys that got life, 2 life sentences, 3 life sentences, not coming home that really don't care about life, which I do. I care about life. And anyone would be nervous. They can act tough and all that, whatever. They can say whatever they want, but they be nervous.
My name is Miles Folsom. I'm 17 years old, and I'm incarcerated at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. I didn't care about anything. I started marijuana at the age of 7. I personally think that I'd become an alcoholic. I would only drink hard liquor, and I was 13, and then I turned 14, and we were just partying all the time. When they sentenced me to 36 years, I was speechless. I just looked in awe as the judge walked out of the courtroom.
At 16, Miles was sentenced for felony robbery and criminal confinement charges. He still keeps a local newspaper headline from what he calls the worst day of his life.
As the reality of facing a lengthy prison term set in late last week, 16-year-old Miles Folsom went to the bathroom at Porter County Jail, carved "I'm sorry" on his chest, and attempted to hang himself. He was rescued before he died and was well enough Friday to be brought over to the court to tell the judge he is a changed man. Porter County Deputy Prosecutor Cheryl Polaric said that she did not buy the change of heart, and the claim was not enough to overcome the young man's lengthy and violent criminal history. Porter Circuit Court Judge Mary Harper sentenced Folsom to 36 years behind bars.
He tried to hang himself. While he went, after getting sentenced, he went to the back, carved that stuff, and then tried to hang himself. And the judge was like, I don't think you're sorry. You're gonna catch this 36 piece and take it like a man. See you on the other side.
25 years I couldn't comprehend, and I wasn't thinking clearly, and it really hit me. And I wrote a goodbye letter to my family and hung myself. Another inmate had heard noises or something from me gasping, and he had found me and called for the police. And finally, they picked me up and pulled, because it was a slip knot, and they pulled it from around my head.
Some might find it hard to reconcile the Miles in the newspaper story with the Miles inside Wabash. Folsom is one of the highest performing students in the youth unit and serves as an educational tutor for new kids. Soon to be 18, he's earned his GED in prison and also has a coveted job on the kitchen and cleanup crew.
I mean, this is prison. I mean, you can only do so many things, but if you do nothing, then you become nothing. I started writing kids on the outs. They were in a group called Risk that I used to be in, that I failed, and to tell them what it's like for me in here, because there's many open cells. One day they could walk in, and then I don't want to see that.
At night, when you don't have anything to do, that's really when it gets to you. Like, you just think like all the things you could have been doing on the outside, everything that you're missing out on.
It's hard to wrap your head around the different types of kids at Wabash. From Colt Lundy, a 15-year-old with no history in the system, doing 30 years for conspiracy to commit murder, to 18-year-old Robert Beeler, serving a 2-year sentence for battery and threatening to kill a police officer.
My name is Robert Beeler. I'm in Wabash Valley. I'm in CCU 405.
Beeler is at the start of a 3-month stint in segregation.
We was playing cards. We got into it, and he smacked my face with the cards. So I ran on him from the back, hit him a couple times. Then he's on the ground. I started kicking him.
So what brought you to Wabash in the first place?
I wanted to see my brother though, because he's in a juvenile block. So I got in trouble just to come here.
You got in trouble on the outside to get arrested so you could come to Wabash to see your brother who's already here.
Yeah. It didn't work out that way. They moved him. The day before I got there, he went to the dog block.
What's your first memory of getting in trouble or doing something bad? Do you remember how old you were?
I was 9. I was in school, and I got in a fight, so I grabbed a chair, and I threw it at the teacher, and he tried to grab me. I grabbed his watch, and I split his wrist open. So they locked me up. I'm sitting at the juvenile. I like it.
When it comes to kids and punishment, the question needs to be answered. Do kids, no matter what the crime, belong in adult prison?
It's a complicated issue just because of the fact that they are still juveniles, so they're still young in mind and body and spirit and everything. And yet they have committed some pretty serious crimes against society. The natural reaction, particularly for a kid who's going into an environment like that, they learn survival skills. And it's not a positive learning environment either.
You just gotta basically rely on somebody in here that you can halfway trust, because you don't trust anybody in here. Nobody. Other than that, you're on your own.
And we're standing by whenever you're clear.
For 15-year-old kids coming in that have 30 years to do, what I would tell them is that what the guys told me when I came in: users and abusers are all over this place.
32-year-old inmate Greg Osley knows what it's like to be a young kid serving hard time. At the age of 15, Osley was convicted for the murder of both of his parents. He became the youngest person in Indiana history to be sentenced as an adult. At that time, there were no separate facilities for younger offenders, so Osley was placed directly into the adult population.
I had some guys try to tell me, don't tell them you're 15, tell them you're 17. I'm not a liar, and I just, first guy asked me, he was, you look kind of young, how old are you? And he was cutting my hair, I said, I'm 15. And he stopped me, he's like, what? You know how quickly that spread throughout that prison? Yeah, I mean, people wanted to be my bunkie at that time for the wrong reasons. It's ugly. It's ugly, it's a sick environment.
He said, you know how many people wanted to be my bunkie after they found that I was 15? That's disgusting.
He was 15, and I remember him coming in the cell house, and I remember pulling over talking to him, and he looked so young. He still had that baby face type of thing, you know.
Prison Superintendent Mark Sevier knows Osley well. Sevier was superintendent at Wabash 18 years ago when Osley first arrived. Both are now at the Miami Correctional Facility in Kokomo, Indiana. Sevier still remembers the tense discussions that took place as staff members prepared to put an 8th grader in a cell with an adult offender.
That facility's all two-man cells, and you don't have a choice. You're going to live with someone. The leadership of the facility, we got together, and we screened who was going to be in there with him. We've got a duty to protect everyone as best we can, and we tried to gear him in a direction to be a positive direction for him.
It was scary for sure. You're tense all the time. You know, I felt tense, and I've never been to prison. In the worst case scenario, what if I have to defend myself and do things I'm not supposed to do just to protect myself? How do I explain that to my family? Kids that are coming in, you know, it would be, it's rough. I feel sorry for them.
Here in just a minute, 3 offenders will be coming in. We'll be processing them into the facility. Two of them are the youth offenders.
All right, boys, come on.
Ferguson Shepherd, 179656.
All right, stand on the right.
We'll put all your clothes in these bags here. Put your shoes in this bag, the clothes in this bag. All right?
The majority of them are quiet, not knowing what to expect in this environment. It's totally different from where they came from.
Like at first when you get here, you're just nervous because you don't know how it's going to be like. And the uncomfortable level is just like 9 or 10, like all the time.
Hold the sign right here below your chin.
On any given day in the United States, more than 10,000 kids under the age of 18 are held in jails and adult prisons. Today, 17-year-olds Aaron Gabriel and Harrison Shepard become 2 of these statistics.
This is actually a shit, dude.
Yeah.
You good, ready?
Yes, sir.
You can't even imagine on the outside what it would be like.
Hey, dude, we're in prison, bro. It's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. It's a whole different outlook, man.
Yeah. Home sweet home.
Never called it first time.
They come to prison and think they gotta be tough.
Yeah, they gotta
And
prove themselves to somebody, but you don't.
You just gotta be yourself.
Right here in 101.
Shit crazy.
This is it.
Yes, sir, man.
This is home, man.
I need to be punished for what I did, and I'm never gonna take that away. But it shouldn't have been just punishment, because it isn't like I just walked out into society and just took some random person. There's a reason this happened, and I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying there's an understanding behind this. I mean, I've been locked up for 18 years, and I've still never had a chance to get the counseling for why I killed my mom and dad. If everyone has such a great opinion now, you know, the community, well, you need to be locked up. Where were you before? Where were you, in school? I'm showing all the signs. Where were you then? So.
Can't blame nobody else.
My name is Michael Stanley. I'm 18 years old, and I'm at Wabash Wiley Correctional Facility. I've been here 11 months. I didn't see, a lot of people, murder, you feel me, people with, a lot of high crimes, a lot of time, and, I just thank God every day that, you feel me, that I got the time that I got, because I wouldn't know what to do if I had, 30, 50, 40 years, so.
And what are you in for?
Robbery.
Michael Stanley and Aurelius Woods are both serving 3-year sentences. The teens are best friends and cellmates in the juvenile block at Wabash. They could be shipped out to the adult population at any time. Woods is set for transfer first, but no one knows for sure when or where he and Michael will go.
It's gonna feel different to be with somebody else. Since I've been with bros for a long time, since we got locked up, so it's gonna feel different, but wherever he go, wherever I go, we still hold it down for each other, so as long as he alright, I'm alright.
But you think you're leaving first?
Yes, ma'am. I've been 18 the longest, and I've been approved since December. And I can leave any time now.
Are you nervous for it?
I ain't gonna say I'm nervous for him, but I just want the best for him. So.
And that's where we're going to end it today. You should always want the best for the ones that hold closest to your heart. At the end of the day, keep positivity around you. It was just a short video on teens that are serving time in maximum security prisons. We always hear of younger crowds committing crimes and figuring out where do they actually go. As I said, West Virginia doesn't have any systems like this for the teen offenders, but in Indiana, seems like they have a whole prison to themselves. Once they turn 18, they are then transferred off to the adult sections, but they are doing time just like the rest of us that are sitting in maximum security prison, low prison, supermax. Regardless, we're sitting in a place that we don't want to be at. Where we need to be at is at home with our loved ones, family, and friends, doing the best that we can to support ourselves and to be the best versions of ourselves that we can become. As always, guys, thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notifications button so you'll be first informed when I upload. As always, guys, I send my utmost love, loyalty, respect. Keep y'all head up, stay positive, and keep them coming back.